Today, I just plan to demonstrate some projects, another one of these violent Python projects and a couple of machine learning projects. Let me get my, I don't know if I'm going to need to do it live. I may not need the Opera. Let's see if I can do without it. All right, let's start with VP37. And this one is probably really important. This is like the one that's going to be VP39 that I'm nearly done with working on. This is one where you play with basically a graph or a tree. And you have to go through traversal. So it's very good, very relevant to your textbook, and very important. Many problems do boil down to this kind of thing. Now, they made an artificial one here about caves and stuff, but many problems are this way. So here what you have a series of caves that are connected, and you're trying to find the best path through this series of caves. So you have a list of how they're connected. Start goes to A, start also goes to B, A goes to C and B, B goes to D, A goes to end, and B goes to end. And you're trying to find the best path to go from start to end. Obviously, you can just say it's start A to end or start B to end. Those are the shortest paths for this trivial thing. But the first thing is we just like to understand how to find all paths. And then we can deal with more complicated ones. So here's a list of all paths. There are 17 possible results. And you can write a traversal algorithm to do this, and as we talked about it, there is breadth-first traversal, which is by far the easiest, and the one I'm always using for these, where you take both of these choices, and then you go only one hop away as far as you can, then you go 2 hops away, all choices, and 3 hops away. It's easy to understand, easy to code. Depth-first traversal would be first you go to the end, then you go back and trim the tree, and I found those difficult to code and hard to set up. I'm using breadth-first traversal in the ones I've solved here. And you can see that's how I did it. I did start, then start AA. These are the ones with 1 hop, then all the ones with 2 hops, then all the ones with 3 hops. That was the technique I used. Although, in your textbook and in lecture we talked about, there are those other techniques, and you can use them if you prefer. So here's a larger example. Oh, that's not good. I'm going to have to fix that diagram. And make a note of that. VP37, that's a diagram for a previous project. Somehow my picture didn't get uploaded. But anyway, here's a more complicated example, and there's 46 paths through it. And here's an even larger example, and this one has 610 paths through it. So it doesn't take very many connections before it gets really complicated to list all the paths to go from start to end. And so here's one where you have, again, a small thing and find out how many paths there are to start to end without visiting any cave more than once. Now, next thing is, consider this. If some of the caves, this cave, you might want to visit it more than once. Now, right now it doesn't make much sense, but you could go this way and then come back through here again to take a different door. That is a possible path. And so now we change the rules. There's 2 types of caves. The lowercase rules, caves are small caves, and you can only go in them once, but the uppercase caves, you're allowed to go to them more than once. So now you have paths like this: start A, C, A, B, end. Start A, C, A, B, end. And so there's more paths through it. Here's a larger example with 19 paths through it, and here's a larger example, and now has 226 paths through it. So, you get a little practice traversing these things. And now you got another one. Not only are you allowed to visit the large caves as many times as you want to, you're allowed to visit one small cave twice, but no more than one. And it can be any of the small caves. So again, just another wrinkle to see how you go. And this way you're going to get 36 possible paths to the first example and so on. So you get to practice these traversals. And I think that's good for you. It's good to practice this coding an important concept. So let me stop this recording.